And for those of you who don't know what a podcast is, it's basically an on-demand internet radio show. And so you can download it. We'll have it on video and audio for download. And this here is Cable Jakins. Do you want to introduce yourself for all those people who have no idea who you are?
Which I'm sure there's many. Cable Jakins, also known as TheParty. That's on my Facebook. I have a shirt that says it. Hope you can read that. I have been here in the Utah mid-single scene for about 4.5 years and just do a lot of events and invite to a lot of stuff. So if you're interested in getting out, hit me up on Facebook. We have a link in the showcase to our page, the Mormon Meet Locker. So you can find me on there and just let me know if you want to come hang out with us.
My name is Kingsley. I joined the single scene last fall when I met Cable in Tahoe. And
actually, it was the backseat of a minivan.
Great. Let's start with that.
Yeah.
And I'm a writer and producer. And I forgot the Caroline shirt today.
Well, so welcome. And we will be discussing different topics and things that are on mid-singles' minds, different issues that people have within dating, getting out. You know, there's a lot of mid-singles who have kids, who are divorced, who have lots of different issues going on in their life that make dating and hanging out hard sometimes. So we're going to be talking about all kinds of different stuff. Today is just kind of wanted to give an intro and let you know who we are and what we're all about.
And moving forward, we will be having a lot of guests on from all walks of life. We're already getting some really great people lined up to talk about the different issues as we've mentioned. I think we are dealing with a lot of unique aspects of being single, and not just single in the world right now, but single in the LDS world. This world that it has so much emphasis on eternal marriage, and a lot of us find ourselves post-divorce, post-temple divorce. A lot have been single for years, and so there's very unique aspects to what we're going through, as well as all of the dating issues. We mentioned being ghosted on our Facebook page, kind of a new phenomenon. Not only LDS singles that deal with it, but certainly we deal with it. And ghosting basically is when you're dating someone to some degree and they just sort of slip away and you don't know where they go. You just are not dating, but there was no breakup. And you're dating in a digital world, which is completely different than a lot of us who dated, pre-marriage. So that comes a lot of issues, as well as just being in the single scene, what that's like, being the social scene, with all the things that Cable does with bowling and movie nights and retreats and everything. There's a lot going on all the time.
Yeah, there's always stuff to do. There's always stuff going on, and the trick is figuring out, what you can do, what fits into your schedule with kids and work and all kinds of stuff like that. So we're gonna, try to talk about some of those issues, try to, just let everybody know about some of the stuff that's going on as well, so that when you do have time, you know what options there are available to you.
And we'll be doing this live generally, and so people can participate on a level. You'll be able to ask questions, and they'll show up there's a sidebar that they'll show up, and we'll pick from those to talk about. If you have any ideas of stuff you want to be discussed on one of our shows, if you have someone that you think would be a really great guest, or you want to be a guest, just go ahead and let us know. And we're really excited to move forward.
Yeah, it'll be great. So each episode, you can ask questions for Caroline or myself. You can also ask questions to the guests every time. Whenever we have a guest on, we'll have a Q&A session with them. So if you have questions for them specifically, you can ask them. I will, this week I'll be making some videos that show you how to use the Q&A section. There's a showcase app with Hangouts on Air where we will showcase different links to people's websites and pages that come on the air and things like that. So we'll be showcasing different websites and events and things like that on there. I'll show you through the videos how to access that, as well as the Q&A section, and as well as how to access all of our all of the podcasts that we have done and that we will do. So we will go over all of that. They all will be on our Google Plus page as well as our YouTube page, and there will be links to all of that in our Facebook group. Also, there will be a lot of laughing on this show, so if that's what you're into, check in with us. Like Caroline said, we're going to be doing this live, probably every week or every other week, and so you can tune in and watch it live, or you can tune into our YouTube or Google Plus page after it airs and watch it later on there. There's a lot of features built into this that enable you to get to the parts that interest you, things like that. So, and we'll be, like I said, I'll make videos to highlight all of those features, or if you just want to tune in live and catch the whole show and just listen to what we'll be talking about.
Do we want to launch into something discussion today? Such as why be in the LDS single social scene, Mr.
Why be in the scene?
The party.
Mr. The Party.
And this is maybe something we can address more in depth later, but I think there's been some criticism as to is there value in the scene? Is it cliquey? Is it shallow? Do we have Peter Pan syndrome with all the fun things that we're doing all the time? Or is there something that we're actually gaining, some intrinsic value that we're gaining from being the social scene?
I think there's a lot of value to it, and there are a lot of issues like you talk about, but there's a lot of value to being in the scene. The biggest one just being that it's a way to meet people. It's a way to get out there and make friends and meet people. And if you're new to this scene, whether it be through divorce, newly widowed or widowered, I don't know if that's a word, or you're new to Utah or possibly new to the LDS faith, there's a variety of reasons that you'd be new to this scene. And coming in as a new person, I know there's a lot of people who feel kind of intimidated because they don't know anyone. And there's a lot of people who feel that within the scene, everyone knows everyone else, and it's hard to kind of get into it, but that's just simply not the case. I was talking to a friend after one of my movie nights, and she said she was hesitant to come because she thought kind of everyone would know everyone else. It'd kind of be a clique, and she'd be standing on the outside. And she came and actually realized that most of the people don't know each other. That's why I do these events. So I bring all these people together that normally wouldn't necessarily be in the same circle. And then through that, they're able to make friends and get to know people. And so, I tell people all the time, because I'm asked this quite a bit, just about, I'd say, I don't like to use absolutes, but at almost every event that I do, whether I'm just going to something, whether I've planned it myself, even my weekly movie nights, almost every time I meet somebody new. And I always say, if I can meet someone new, then anyone can meet someone new. So if, you can just keep going, you'll always be meeting new people and consistently growing your network of people that you know. And whether there's great value in that, whether it's for dating, just having friends, that's a huge help in the situation that we're all in. Business and networking opportunities that are out there. I've gained most of what I do for work right now. I've gained through associations I've made through the single scene. So there's a great worth in it, I think. We can go into this. Probably we'll do an episode based on this and go into it in a lot more depth. But there really is a lot of value to it. Now, you don't have to be going to something every night. You know, everyone's situation is different, and you know, the single scene is there for you, and you can attend as much or as little as what fits into your life. But it is, in my opinion, a great resource to help us all get through this crazy life.
So like I said, I came into the LDS single scene last fall, and I, which is kind of funny because the name of the show, but I had erroneously assumed that it would be this meat market, and which is why I did the play on words with the show. Of course, more intimating, we're meeting people and discussing issues, but I thought it was just going to be a big meat market. There was just to look for someone. I had just gone through a breakup, wasn't really interested in that. And there's a stigma with LDS, or not LDS, but with single activities, I think. There's sort of those movies with the awkward cocktail parties. And so I didn't go into anything for a long time. And Tahoe just kind of came up at the right time. A friend I'd met like a couple years ago invited me on Facebook, and I thought, I don't know anyone. Like, I didn't know a soul, and I thought I would take the leap. And of course, I ended up in Cable's carpool in the back seat of the van.
Out together. It was fun.
And if you're going to get into the LDS single scene, he's a good person to know, obviously. So I go, and the surprising thing to me was the fact that it's mostly about socialization. If you meet someone, then great. But it's really just, why sit at home? Why be lonely and bored when there's a whole world out there, when there's so much money, great opportunities, there's fun things to do, there's great people to meet. You're building connections all the time. And sometimes they're romantic connections, but a lot of times they're friendship connections, which to me, like, these people have become like family to me. And so I went to Tahoe, and then I thought, I went to another activity after that, and I thought I would know no one. But then there ended up being people from Tahoe there. So I started off with like knowing a few people, and then like Cable has talked about, everything I go to, I end up meeting one or two new people, and I make sure that I always step outside of my comfort zone a little bit and make sure I'm not just hanging out with only the people I know. And I remember going to a Halloween party last year, and I was so scared on the sidelines of people who know me would be really surprised that I was just like, there's all these little clumps of people, and I thought, how do you just like walk up to them and stand there until they notice you and say hi? And I saw my friend Chris pass, and I just remembered him from Facebook. Actually, I think Cable went ahead and stole my phone and invited a bunch of people onto my Facebook list that he thought were cool and important. And so I recognized him from Facebook, and I grabbed him, and I was like, hi, I think I met you at a party a month ago. Hi, I don't know anyone else here. So I grabbed him. He's kind of a wallflower, so we wallflowered together, and then it just kind of grew from there. But I think there's nothing wrong with just showing up at something and just getting to know one person and expanding from there. But just to address really quick some of the issues of cliques and Peter Pan syndrome and whatnot. There are cliques out there. They're there for sure, but they're the minority. And so I typically don't worry about them too much. Most people are super accepting and want to make, new friends, and are just out to, enjoy themselves and network. All my career opportunities I'm in now are from networking at single events. And Peter Pan syndrome, I think all of us are looking for someone. I think all of us want to settle down, but in the meantime, we're not just going to play dead. So we might as well be watching movies together, be learning new things, learning dancing, learning how to water surf, wake surf.
Wake surf.
Yeah.
And the most important is we might as well be blobbing, because that is the greatest activity known to man.
If you want to be injured.
No, if you do it the way I say, you won't get hurt. I have a great track record. You can ask Jeanette Smith. She loves it.
I'll take your word for it. All right. I think that wraps it up.
It's great. Yeah. Within the scene, there's also a lot of opportunities for service, for helping other people, stuff like that. I do a lot of fundraisers, and a lot of which are just going out to eat. We set up the fundraiser at the restaurant, so, and then they'll donate a portion of what we spend and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different opportunities out there. It's not, majority of it is about meeting other people and going to parties, things like that. But there's a lot of other opportunities as well that once you get involved in this and get to meet some people, then a lot of those opportunities are presented to you. So we'll be going more into depth over a lot of those topics. A lot of the stuff we've talked about today, as well as lots of other stuff. Again, if you have questions that, if you have topics you want us to talk about, if you have questions for our guests, if anything like that, feel free to reach out to us, submit questions through the Hangouts on Air app, or find us on Facebook, and you can post the questions in our group, which we have in the showcase feature here, which I'll be doing a video about. You can post questions there. You can also find Caroline or myself on Facebook and message us directly. So
one of his 4 or 5 personalities on there. Just pick one.
But pick the right one, because otherwise I might not respond for like a week. So anyway, welcome. We're glad you're here. Look for us. We will be posting the time and dates of when we'll be doing those on our Facebook group. So it's called Mormon Meet Locker. If you're interested in following, make sure you join that group, and then we'll go from there.